Hi people, Chilli here from Live Listen Erased, and welcome to this episode of 5 Minute Review, where we look into the latest album by Deep Purple, Turning to Crime. Now, Deep Purple is a band that shouldn't need an introduction. However, to those unfamiliar with their works, they have been around since the 60s and have had many lineup changes. In fact, they refer to each new lineup as a marked number. Currently, we are up to Mark 8, with current members being longtime vocalist Ian Gillan, Roger Glover on bass, Steve Morse on guitar, Don Airy on keyboards, and the only original member of Deep Purple, Ian Pace. In today's age, it is important to remain in the forefront of the music scene to be remembered. We are currently in a scene with a vicious riptide, and given current COVID situations, a lot of, how to put this nicely, classic bands will surely be moving on to give way to others, hopefully. The only way to stay on top is to keep writing and to keep touring. It helps to have a solid fan base, but let's face it, at the end of the day, the youth aren't getting into these great tunes. I was playing this album recently and someone asked me who it was. I replied, it's Deep Purple's newest album. They just asked, who is Deep Purple? It's a sad, inevitable fact that all things fade away with time, but Deep Purple are going to try their best to avoid fading into shades of purple. On this record, we see Deep Purple doing covers of some of their contemporaries in an interesting move, I must say. When I heard they were recording a new album, I wouldn't have guessed it to be covers, especially since the last album wasn't too bad. The album features covers of bands like Love's 7 and 7 Is, which sees the band kick this one in the hard rocking face. Other tunes include Little Feat's Dixie Chicken, Johnny Horton's The Battle of New Orleans, Bob Seger's Lucifer, and an apt song choice with Let the Good Times Roll by Louis Jordan and his Tenpenny Five. There are some choice songs amongst the mix, and of course all received the Deep Purple touch with their flair and virtuistic guitar styles whenever possible. The keyboards are on point, and it's a great hard rock covers album. I've not heard of a lot of these tracks, so this should be an interesting dive for me. This album I could almost compare as Deep Purple's version of Garage Inc., although it's hard to say now if it would launch them back into the scene. The band feels like it's jamming well here and are enjoying themselves despite the post-apocalyptic COVID lockdown recordings. They seem to be in high spirits, and Ian's vocals are still on point. On first playthrough, I didn't really enjoy this album. It felt like a bit of a niche market, but after subsequent listens, I've warmed up to it. Overall, the album deserves 450,000 Chillis on the Chilli scale. It's got some spice to it, with standout tracks being their covers of Jenny, Take a Ride, Let the Good Times Roll, White Room, and the final medley song, Caught in the Act, which melds songs by Freddie King, the Spencer Davis Group, Led Zeppelin, the Allman Brothers Band, and Booker T, and the MGs in a boiling pot of rock and roll stew. Well worth the listen, and I'm sure they will jam extensively when performing this track live. I'm Chilli. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Live Listen Erased. Please hit like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to us, and tune into our Twitter and Instagram at Live Listen Erased, where we discuss this album, and you can tell me what are your favourite songs. Please let me know below or on our Instagram and Twitter. You have a great day, and stay spicy.